What is up, you sexy beasts? Hope you guys are doing really well. Had a look at the subscriber count this morning. We've gained about 600 new subs in the last week to the Sexy Beast tribe. So welcome to all the new sexy beasts. Hey, if you saw me walking down the street, you'd probably think I was a Nike sponsored athlete. I've literally got Nike all the way from the shoes to the hat, socks, the whole lot. Just Nike everywhere. We've got a fun one today, just 20 minutes. We've got some clean and jerks. I'm gonna do some split jerking, 3 reps, and I'm gonna reset after each rep on the ground, reset the clean. Then from there, 15 unbroken wall balls. And then the next round, I'm gonna do 3 dead ball, followed by 15 unbroken wall balls. So basically alternating between the clean and jerk and the dead ball. After each of those, 15 unbroken wall balls. So yeah, it's gonna keep moving for 20 minutes. Should be a bit of fun. Got my tiny timer right here. Let's go, let's go. That was a fun workout. Sometimes it's just nice to do things that you're really good at and that you really enjoy doing. For the most part, I try and do things that I need to work on, things that I'm not naturally very good at. But sometimes it's just nice to throw some things together that you love doing. So I love odd objects. The dead ball's one of my favorite. I love clean and jerk, especially the split jerk. And because I'm a taller guy, my squat's not great, but I do enjoy wall balls. I can keep them going, pretty decent at them. So that was a very enjoyable 20 minutes. I don't know if you guys saw my technique on the wall ball, but I'm a big fan of the old throw it up, let the arms drop for like a split second, catch again, go again. I feel like my arms get that little micro rest by just kind of falling rather than keeping up here the whole time. Is anyone else out there that does that, or is that an old school thing? I think Rich Froning maybe made that famous, and I never stopped doing it. I just really enjoy the little circular motion of the arms, catch again. But hey, I've been thinking, there's so many changes I feel like in the sport. I feel like athletes are moving to different coaches and starting to follow different programs. And, you know, Matt now has won 5 CrossFit Games in a row. How many more can he win? How many more does he want to put the work in to win? And who's going to challenge him? When does he go? When does he call it quits? You know, does he do the Rich Froning thing and just call it quits while he's on top? Or does he keep going until he loses and then calls it quits? Like, I wonder how long it's going to keep going for and who's going to be the next person in line. Now, on the podcast that I talked about a few videos ago, the Matt, Josh, Sivan video, Sivan actually asks him this question pretty early on. Are you coming back again this year? Are we going to see Matt Fraser at the CrossFit Games again? And this was his answer.
Are you going to compete again next year?
I don't know yet. We don't put together an attack plan until we see facts. Yeah, so right now it's just enjoying enjoying the off season. So we just got other shit going on. We haven't really talked about that.
So there is so you really you haven't committed to competing again. That may have been the last time we saw you compete.
I mean, every year. I mean,
okay.
So after the games this year, I made a comment of people like, all right, what's next? And I was like, I haven't even thought that far yet. Like, I make no future plans while I'm training for that competition. Like, I'm not making plans for the 2021 anything. So when someone asked, and my response was like, I don't know yet. I need to have we're going to have Sam and I are going to have some life talks. And everyone took their interpretation of that. And I was like, what are you doing? I've said that same line for the last 3 or 4 years.
It's funny, Matt actually, in his response to Savan, he actually says that whenever he gets this question from an interviewee, he's always very thoughtful in the way he says it. He doesn't want to just kind of give the cliche answer of yeah, of course I'm back next year, training starts tomorrow. He's very thoughtful in his approach to these questions. And many times he has said, I don't know, I don't really plan too far ahead. And he says in this podcast that when he says that, everyone kind of jumps to their own conclusions and makes up their own stories about it. And I feel like I'm being one of those people right now, but it is interesting to me. I do wonder, is he coming back? How many more, Now, switching from our champion, the darling of CrossFit, Matt Fraser, to probably someone who's a bit more of a villainous character in our sport, and that is Wykie Garard. I want to know, you guys might be able to help me out. I don't know too much about performance enhancing drugs and how much they actually help you. What I can observe of Wykie, his training, his performances and workouts that he put out there, he's obviously a beast. He's obviously a very, very good athlete, very capable athlete. And I wonder where he would have placed. I wonder how he would have performed at the games in 2000. When was it? 2017? I think it was 2017. Anyway, whenever it was, I wonder where he would have placed without the performance enhancing drugs. And I wonder if he is someone who is capable of challenging Matt. But to be honest, I'm not sure we'll ever see that battle between Matt and Wykie, if it would even be a battle, I don't know. But let's say Matt comes back this year and he wins it again, a 6th one. I don't know if there's another year after that, a 7th one. And that's when Wykie can come back, it's 2022. I think there's been a misconception, including myself. I thought that this year Wykie could make his return, but it's actually not till next year. So he's got a whole other year to wait. So the question is, does Matt stick around? Not that he would stick around to compete with Wykie. I don't think that's even in his thought process. But do you reckon Matt will still be around 2022 CrossFit Games when Wykie makes his return, if he even makes it? Obviously, there's a bunch of rounds of qualification to go through. I think it'll be interesting. I think it'll be an amazing story to see Wykie come back and how he does. I don't know if Wykie has anything specifically against Matt. Obviously, there's been that video that he posted where it seems like he's kind of challenging or yelling at the camera, addressing Matt or talking to Matt directly. But that could just be, him being fired up at the end of the workout and just saying stuff. It doesn't mean that he necessarily has something specific against Matt, but who knows? And so I'm in Australia, Ricky's in Australia. I thought, you know what? I can probably go and see him and just spend some time with him, do a bit of a day in the life of Wykie Garard and find out what is the story. How does he feel about this whole thing? He's obviously a very passionate and verbal guy. Like, he's not shying away from the camera at the moment. He's putting things out there and talking about his comeback. He's just quite vocal about it all. So I'm really interested to go and spend some time with him to see how he feels, what the plan is, and whether there is something specifically against Matt, and whether his goal is to not only get back to the games but to specifically beat Matt at the CrossFit Games. I don't know, but I reached out to Wykie and he's happy to have me come and film and spend some time with him, so I'm planning that in the next couple of months. That's going to be very, very interesting. But I'll pass the question off to you. What do you think? How many more years does Matt have in him? Do you reckon he's going to just keep coming back for another 2 or 3 years, or do you reckon he may be he may be done, or he may be coming back for the last time this year? Who knows? He certainly seems to be more relaxed in the sense that, he's doing this podcast, he's kind of showing us the developments or the renovations of his house and his new barn gym. I definitely feel like he is saying yes to opportunities and things that maybe in the past it would have been a hard no, because it would have impacted on his training or his focus. So whether that's just because it's in the off season, or maybe it is a change of season for him, maybe he is actually stepping away from that sole focus of just training to win the CrossFit Games and expanding his horizons and being involved in the sport in other ways. who knows? Again, like I said before, I'm being one of those people who are making up my own little hypotheses about what he says. I don't want to read into his comment on the podcast too much because he has said that 100 times. Look, I don't know if I'm coming back. I don't know what the plan is. It seems like the way he approaches things is very much like day by day, and just he waits till all the announcements are made about the season before he plans with his team and then kind of tells the world what he's going to be doing. So we'll just have to sit tight and wait. But in the meantime, while I plan my trip to go see Ricky, maybe throw some questions that you'd like me to ask him. What would you like me to get out of the content that'll be with Ricky? What would you want to see come out of that? If you have any specific questions you'd like to throw out there, or any ideas, but I'm planning on maybe doing like a little mini series on his training, his comeback, and his mindset, where he's at. So I think that'll be very, very interesting. I'll be honest with you, my initial feelings towards Ricky, or thoughts towards him, was he's a cheater. I don't want anything to do with him. He took away the opportunity. I think it was Valner who was going to be on the podium, who couldn't be there. All that stuff, my natural instinct or response was, just he's not worth your time. But then, thinking about it, I was like, you know what? Everyone deserves a second chance. I think there's a cool story there. And the truth is, myself and most of us, we don't really know who he is as a person truly. We don't know what's going on in his life. So I thought, you know what? Why don't put in the effort? Go and meet him, get to know him, show the world who he is now, 3 years later. Go and find out for myself. Is he just an arrogant dick who makes a lot of noise? Or is he actually, someone who just made a mistake, who's actually a great person and is looking to redeem himself and make a comeback? So that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Friends, keep roaring love, stay sexy, and I'll see your pretty faces real soon.